What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for yet another Tottenham update. Let's talk about the returning players from the African nations and the Asia Cup. We saw Pape Matar return to the side against Everton, coming on as a sub in the latter stages of the game. The Standard are reporting about Yves Bissouma, and they're saying Bissouma is expected back at Hotspur Way later this week for medical checks after Mali coach revealed the midfielder played while suffering with malaria at the African Cup of Nations. And I was watching these Mali games or checking up the lineups. I never saw Bissouma. He came on in the latter stages of the game. In the last, when they went out, he came on for extra time. And I was thinking, what is going on with Bissouma? He's suffering with malaria, but he's still playing. I mean, I didn't really understand the whole situation with Bissouma, but I guess he'll come back for medical checks and hopefully he won't have an extended period out of the team.
Yeah, but it is a bit of a concern considering going into the AFCON, he was not in good form. Hadn't been playing well for a few weeks. You were hoping maybe he goes to Mali, maybe a different environment, can get back to his best. He'll be starting every game. Hasn't happened that way. I think he started the first game, but after that he was on the bench. Obviously, the manager revealing he's suffering from malaria, but that's not going to be conducive for him getting back into form. And I don't expect him to come back to Tottenham having been ill and then hit the ground running and come back to top form, which he was earlier in the season. So we'll have to wait and see what condition he comes in. I don't expect him to be involved on the weekend. Maybe if he's fit, he'll be on the bench. I don't expect him to start. I just hope that he can get back to full fitness as soon as possible, then kind of recapture that confidence, that form he had in those first 10 games, because he was one of the best midfielders in the league during that time, and we just haven't seen that ever since then, which is a real shame because we know Bissouma, we saw it at Brighton as well. When he's on form, he can be a consistently very good player. So I don't think it's a case of he overperformed in those first 10 games. I do think that's his true level. We just haven't seen it since then, and it's a shame that going to the AFCON this has happened, because I don't think that's going to help him get back into form.
It is a shame. I'm dying to see that midfield again for the first 10 games of the season, when we had Bissouma in the 6, Sarr in the 8, Maddison in the 10. It was just a joy to behold when those three players were on. They were just, all three of them were just on banging top form, weren't they? Maddison was the best attacking midfield in the league. Bissouma was like the best 6 in the league for those first 10 games, and Pape Sarr was brilliant as well. So I just want to see us get back to that. And it's a shame, isn't it? Because Bissouma's going to come back suffering with malaria when Bentancur is not exactly in the best form as well. So we need to get someone in that 6 that can start performing to a top level if we're going to get back to those levels of that first 10 games of the season. But let's talk about Heung-min Son now, as he flew back 2 hours after South Korea crashed out the Asia Cup against Jordan, which was a devastating defeat to the whole of Korea, especially for Sonny, who just put so much effort into that tournament. And I think he must have landed back in the UK by now. And if he has, then surely he's in the frame for the weekend.
I think that's definitely in his mind for sure. I think you don't leave 2 hours after a game like that, and pretty much as soon as possible. Usually you probably wait a day and then fly back. A lot of players are flying back with the team back to South Korea and things like that. But I think being captain of Tottenham, he feels that responsibility to Tottenham just as much, I feel like, as he does to Korea, I think, at this point in time, especially now Korea crashing out of the semi-finals. I know he'd be devastated about it, but he's been watching every Spurs game. You've seen that on his social media. He's posting whenever Spurs are playing that he's been watching it, following it. I'm sure he's desperate to get back involved with Tottenham as well, considering, I wouldn't say we've been struggling without him, but we definitely need him back. In terms of results, we haven't been massively struggling without him, but obviously he's going to massively benefit the team. He's very much needed. So I think he's going to feel that responsibility to be back available for Tottenham as soon as possible. And I know he's had a lot of game time for Korea, obviously played every minute of every game. And even this week, he played Friday, 120 minutes. He played on Tuesday, 90 minutes in a very taxing game for him. But I think he's going to be in the squad back on Saturday. I don't think there's going to be any sort of rest period for him. He's going to want to be available yet again, because that's the kind of man he is.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't expect him to come straight back into the starting lineup, albeit I'd love it. I'd love him to, but I think maybe start on the bench, be an impact sub for the last half an hour, 25 minutes if we really need a goal, but it'll be great to see him back.
But then there poses a question, what do we do once he's back? Not because it's bad that he's back, it's just obviously he either plays up front or on the left. Right now, probably our best 2 attackers are Richarlison and Werner in terms of form. So where do we put Son? Do we move Werner to the right? Do we put, I don't know what we do. Do we put Son back on the left? Does Son go up front? But obviously, with Charlotteson's in great form, so that's probably not going to happen. So if Son comes in on the left, what do we do with Werner? Do we put him on the right? Is he good on the right? It's a bit of a question for Ange to figure out.
I think that those three have to start. When it's back to Sonny being back to full fitness and ready to start, it has to be those three. I think we've spoken about this before, and I'm not too bothered whether it's Sonny on the right or Werner on the right. I think it'll probably work better if it is Sonny on the right, because he's just so ambidextrous, can play with both feet equally well. Whereas Werner, I'm not sure he's the same. And for a player of Son's quality, I think you can probably play him either or on the left or the right, where Timo Werner's just making his way into the team and just trying to build up his confidence and stuff like that. So you probably want to stick him in his favourite position.
I feel like Werner can offer just as much as Johnson can on that right-hand side, and I don't think we need Werner cutting inside. In fact,
Sonny?
What?
Sonny can also offer just as much as Johnson on the right-hand side.
I feel like Sonny, for some reason, feels more comfortable on the left when he's cutting in on his right. I think he can do it on the right, but I've never seen him play well on the right-hand side whenever he's been there. So for some reason, he's just not as comfortable in that position. And I feel like he's so clinical. He's so... when he cuts inside on his right foot and he has a shot, he can be very clinical, but he can also go down the left-hand side. But Werner, at the moment, he's playing on the left. He's looking good, but I feel like when he goes on the outside and cuts back on his left foot, I know he got an assist there, but I still haven't seen enough of him using his left foot. And whereas maybe if he's going outside on the right-hand side, and maybe he's going to be more inclined to hit the byline a lot more than being on the left. So I think it'd be interesting to experiment with that, but obviously Werner sees his best position on the left, so it'll be interesting to see what Ange does. I think if it was my decision, let's say Son is fit for the weekend and fit to start, I would probably go Werner on the right and try that out.
Maybe it's a case of trying that to start off with. You can always change in game, can't you? If it's not working. So I think it's not the worst problem to have.
And then you got then you have decision what you do with Kulu and Brennan, obviously both out of form. But yeah, decisions.
They got to fight their way back into the team, Kulu and Brennan, because both of them are not playing well at the moment, and they need to pick up their form if they want to get back into this team.
But all of a sudden, with Sonny back now, is that apart from Solomon, everyone's fit, right, in the forward line? In that case,
that is, yeah, that's the case, and we just don't know when Solomon is going to be back, which is a big shame. But finally, we're starting to get a fully fit squad now. Giovanni's coming back, Solomon back yet to come, and Ryan Sessegnon yet to come as well. But apart from that, it's a fully fit squad, I think. And
all of a sudden, you've gone from only having Brian Hill on the bench, which has been the case for like a while, and all of a sudden there's 5 players there, and at least 2 of them are going to be on the bench, so 2 options to come off. So yeah, really, really positive.
Really is. But thank you everyone for joining us today. That is your Tottenham update. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts regarding all the news stories brought to you today. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always,
come on you Spurs.